going through your mind when all the phone calls kept coming in for you to show up?
Yeah, so that whole situation is like, it's just staying true to your purpose, it's integrity, it's staying grounded in who you are. 'Cause I said no to Band Aid 10 years ago.
Yes.
And the no made more sense 10 years later.
You ask me where I get all my energy from. From the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god. And you can be one too.
You're listening to Adeshokwe Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to a brand new edition of Adeshokwe Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, where we break down the hottest topics in the culture. And sometimes I'm joined by a special guest one-on-one to just chop it up. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, I saw the last time I checked, over 80% of the people watching this podcast haven't clicked the subscription button yet. What are you waiting for? Like, comment, share, and subscribe. The bigger our platform gets, the better we're in position to promote our own people and our culture without waiting for others to do so. We appreciate all your support, but we need that support still. This is brought to you by Anchor Car Sales. Anchor Car Sales, if you're based in the UK, all you have to do is follow them on social media, hit them up directly and say, listen, I want to buy my dream car. This is my budget. And they'll give you someone to work with your budget to get you your dream car. Plus, if you're based anywhere in the UK, they will deliver at your door. I just got my own delivery, so I can testify to that. Tell them you're from Shop C and you'll get a fantastic discount. This is brought to you by Energy God. Energy drink and stay energized. Be yourself. This is for us, by us. Go to energygod.com. Support the movement. You already know what to do. Anyways, we are live in the studio with one of the hit makers. Hi there. If you're in Europe or the United States or America and want to send money back home to family and friends, look no further than downloading the Nyla Money app. Send love home through Nyla Money as easy as can be. All you have to do is download the app and boom, you can start the process. And guess what? For your first $50 or more money back home, you can get $10 cash back by using my promo code SHOPSY. So what are you waiting for? Download the app right now and start sending love home. Make sure you follow the Nyla Loves Nigeria Instagram page whilst you're at it. One of the leaders, the forerunners of Afrobeats music, changed the game here in the United Kingdom, representing the Black Stars, west side of Africa, Ghana to be exact. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the one, the only, Fuse ODG! My brother, first of all, you're looking like money, man. You made so much money, you never look like you ain't got it.
I feel like money. You know what I mean? I feel like money and happiness, bro. Trust me. So, thank you. So it's good to see you, bro.
Listen, man.
You know what I mean? I see you making money.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Listen, man. First of all, congratulations on the new album.
Thank you, bro.
More importantly, congratulations on such a fantastic show a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
I had, the great thing is when I go to shows like that and I know I'm going to be loose, I don't invite anybody with me. So I went by myself.
Nice.
Sat in the audience because I just wanted to be free, singing, dancing, nobody checking me or whatever. And it was from start to finish. First of all, how have you been and how did it feel stepping back on stage at that level, having your own audience going crazy for you, man?
Man, I've been great, bro. I've been great, man. Honestly, the journey has been so fulfilling. And, as you mentioned, the other day, like, the route that I chose, it's a purposeful one. And with a purposeful journey, it's never always going to be easy.
Facts.
You know what I mean? But for me, it's very fulfilling. And that day, the show was a testament that, if you stick to who you are, your purpose, everything else follows. Because the kind of people that were there, the caliber of people that were there,
Absolutely.
bro,
Everybody was there.
like you just felt like you were in a safe space.
Facts.
People that love themselves, they love the person next to them.
Facts.
Like if you were in a bad mood, like from that show, it's impossible.
It was impossible.
Do you know what I mean? You leave feeling motivated because it wasn't just a show. It was a conversation as well. As well as us, having fun. And I was saying on stage, like we're all here, we're dancing with a purpose.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? For the bigger impact. So for sure. Like, it's been a fulfilling journey, bro. Like, honestly, like, I'm so grateful to do things at my own pace. And to be able to live in my purpose through the music as well. Like, this new album, honestly, bro, I just knew this new album just had to exist. You know, it just...
Do you know the funny thing? Before we go into this new album, I wanted to ask you, all the time when you were selling this records, I want to get some figures from you, because in the viral clip that I spoke of that went crazy, I didn't even tell people what the numbers were. I know you're not a numbers person, but sometimes we need to give them what those numbers are. In terms of sales, single sales in the UK, where are we at right now with Fuse ODG?
It's over, I think, over 5 million records. Like, I think Mr. Hackett's here, man.
Come on, Mr. Hackett, man. Between 5 and 10 million records sold in the United Kingdom.
And this is old school. We haven't got... This is old figures.
These are physical figures.
We're not talking about streaming.
We're talking CDs.
Yeah. We're not talking about streaming. We're talking like... iTunes. Yeah, iTunes. People actually buying the songs. Yeah, people actually buying the songs. So, for sure. The thing is, I've done things that, for me, like, I've seen it all. Do you know what I mean? When you see it all, you kind of have to make a decision. Like, where do you want to go? Do you know what I mean? Like, even when I sit down, I'm having conversation with Ed Sheeran. Like, bro, Ed Sheeran's like the biggest artist in the world.
Facts.
Right? When I'm sitting down with him, the kind of conversations that we have, like, in the end, is really about fulfilling your purpose.
Facts.
In the end, is really about your happiness, in what you define as success. Do you know what I mean? So I'm around people who are doing things in spaces. Yeah, groundbreaking things. I've done it. Do you know what I mean? But for me, I've always wanted to live in my purpose, which is, you know, and I've been guided by my journey. When we put This Is New Africa in our videos, and you know, the album being This Is New Africa, the whole point of that was to change how the world see us and how Africans see themselves. And I'm guided by that journey. And it's because of that I will never stop. Do you know what I mean? Because if I didn't have that, I would have reached already.
But listen, when you were having those heights and being around the pop world, enjoying the biggest successes and being a pop star, basically, was this somewhere in your heart that even though I'm here, I still want to go there? Were you thinking about that then?
I've always been that person, though. I've seen a few TikTok posts on people saying people were too busy dancing to a Zonto and not listening to it.
They didn't get what you were saying.
I've always been that person.
I like that.
Do you know what I mean? But I always knew so the first phase of the mission was to realign how the world sees Africa and how Africans see themselves, which means that we have to make sure that we get the attention of the world.
Yep.
Right? Which means that we have to get Africans to feel a sense of pride. For you to feel a sense of pride, you have to feel a sense of achievement. And what we were doing with these songs is we were breaking barriers and getting into spaces that African music wouldn't get into.
100%.
And that's what made African kids start being proud of who they are. So for me, we had to make, you know, the mission was break the charts. The mission was get into those classrooms where, you know, when Becky's phone rings, it's antenna playing, you know, so then we can have something positive to talk about Africa. So we were very much guided by that. And that's why we knew that we had to get into certain spaces in order to share our story. And through that, alongside other, you know, other artists doing their thing, Afrobeats has really positioned us in a way that nothing else has ever done before for Africa.
100%.
Do you understand? And I feel like music is a serious weapon, and we've done that with Afrobeats. So for us, the next phase is we become a nation. And that's why I did my second album, New African Nation, because we became a nation, a proud nation of Africans. The problem is, as proud as we are as Africans, we don't have the right knowledge to understand who we truly are in order to move the right way. And that's why this album needed to exist. Spirit of New Africa. That's what's been missing. As proud as we are not in the right spirit and energy. So we've always had this vision, but people wouldn't listen to you until you get their attention.
Facts.
People are only interested in what they love. Like, you only interested in your favorite football team.
Facts.
If it wasn't your favorite football team, you wouldn't want to know what you know, what
Other
score?
people-
What's the scores?
Yeah,
What players are they buying?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we had to make sure that we developed that love in order for people to want to know where they're from. In order for people to want to know what kind of issues we have as Africans, we had to get to this stage for me to be able to even do this album, to now start talking about all these deep stuff that you guys are hearing, because you guys wouldn't have listened.
We wouldn't have listened then. The
You
funny
have
thing,
to fall in love with yourself first to want to know more about who you are.
the personal story that I've got to tell, I think I've told you before, is I remember, you know, my teenage daughter now, she's a big woman now, when she was in primary school, I remember the day she came home, Christmas party, and said, Dad, they played one Afrobeat song. And I said, what was it? Antenna.
Yeah.
You should have seen
That's
her
crazy.
face, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like she went from telling me about that to when it was her final year in secondary school, that they were the ones controlling the playlist. And they
you
were
imagine?
playing so many Afrobeat songs.
Exactly.
I saw that.
Yeah, see what you've just said there? It's exactly what the mission is. The first phase is to get their attention, right? Because people only be interested in something that they have an interest in. And we did that with Afrobeats. Now, this stage is ownership. What you're saying about your daughter controlling the playlist. It's ownership. How do we then now own what's happening? How do we own the space? But to own the external space, you have to own your internal space. And that's what this album is. And I know I was saying this is New Africa before. People didn't get it till now. I'm saying Spirit of New Africa. You will get it. You will get it, because eventually you will find out who you are. You will start to own your mind, because right now as Africans, we don't own our brains and minds, because we were controlled, we were ruled by a Western system. We were, you know, nurtured to serve a Western system. So really right now, the mission is, how do we go back into our own minds and take ownership of who we are internally in order to be able to take ownership externally.
Now, this new album for me, I think one of the things that I just really wanted to say was, not only were you passing a message on this new album, but I think your beat selection.
Oh yeah, I was very intentional.
The beat selections, you know, the choruses, you know, everything about this album is just spot on. You know, I was listening to the music and my producer was in the background and it was like, oh, you know, man, this record, is this one on the album too? I'm like, that's all on the album. So the records you selected for this album, it was perfect, you know, and I'm not sure if you had to go through all the phases you had to go through to get to this, in even choosing the right sound to project the message.
No, 1,000%. This album couldn't have existed at any other time but now. And you know, Mr. Hackett said this from like, I don't know, 10 years ago. He said, we have to raise the vibration of the world for people to be ready for an album like Spirit of New Africa.
You have to first of all take us there before you can deliver.
And then you can match it. And that's what's happening right now. You know, people are paying attention. I've always been here. You know, I've always been working. You know, whether it was me building schools in Ghana,
the Nana
Dolls, the festivals, the working with the different artists, to building a world-class educational app, School of New Africa.
Crazy.
We've always been here. We've just been executing this phase of the mission, which is, how do we now take back ownership of who we are? Because there's no point us being proud Africans and the whole world paying attention to us if we don't own it.
That's the one.
And that's what this phase is. And as an artist, I cannot sit and allow us to not have ownership for something that we created.
Jeez.
And this has happened in so many spaces. This happened in hip hop.
Yep.
You know, where hip hop became so hot that
they took control of it.
Do you know what I mean? So we're going through the same thing right now. And it's very crucial that we unlearn what we know as, I don't know, what success is, and really understand that success is not playing a part in the system. Success is being the system, owning the system. And that's really the stage that we're at. And that's why the app was crucial, for it to align with the new album. So the app is Sona. The
Yeah.
album is Sona. The app is School of New Africa.
The album Spirit
of New Africa.
Crazy,
so it's a perfect marriage. What you hear in the album, you can learn more about it in the app. So this phase is key. This phase is key. And years from now, people will get to understand the same way we were saying this is New Africa.
Back then.
You know, and now I think it's even more crucial that we focus on the younger ones, because it's easier for kids to learn than for adults to unlearn.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
we're on our way, and I appreciate. And honestly, bro, we knew that this album had to exist. We just didn't know it was going to engage the world like this.
Listen,
So it's even a bonus.
No, I also have to give you and the team a little bit of credit, because watching a video with 20 Ghanaian kings in the heart of central London, fully dressed in their glory,
in the Royal
catches
Kente.
everybody's attention. I don't care who you are. Whether you're coming
Thank you.
there to colonize, control, arrest, when you come in contact with 20 men looking glorious in their royal Kente, you're gonna you're gonna stop and want to say, okay, what going on here? You know, let me listen to what these guys have come to say, because it's easily, in my eyes, it just looked like 20 men dressed in suit. You know, it was exactly. the same impact where you'd have to stop and say, hey, what's going on? And then you listen to the music, and the music was connecting like crazy. Another thing is, in the last 2 years, of course, in the past, you had spoken about, you know, Bob Geldof and stuff like that. But in the last 2 years as well, I think the conversation rehashed itself. And then all of a sudden, you're on LBC, you're on, you know, you're
CNN.
going back, CNN, you're going back and forth with, what's his name? Piers Morgan. And
Piers Morgan.
I'm thinking, there were interviews I saw you, and I'm like, I know Fuse can hold his own. But this is the slippery slope. Any mistake here is hanging.
I can imagine you feeling like that. So I've got this, bro.
I was
man.
scared, bro.
This is my life.
I know. I'm like, this one's here, because you know that's why they got you on there. For a slippery moment that this is going to be the end of you. How did you handle the fact that he came back around and everybody wanted to have this debate with you? And like you said, my brother, you held your own, but what was going through your mind when all the phone calls kept coming in for you to show up?
So that whole situation is like, it's just staying true to your purpose, it's integrity, it's staying grounded in who you are. I said no to Band Aid 10 years ago.
Yes.
And the no made more sense 10 years later. Do you understand? So that's literally what happened. Because everyone was like, wait a minute. Like, why are they still making videos of these starving kids after 40 years? Any charity still running after 40 years in the same place needs to be looked at. Something needs to change.
Is it a business?
The business model needs to change if you're still dealing with the same problem 40 years later. So, and I feel like we even took too long to pull him up on it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it took people 10 more years for them to actually get the point that, wait, what Few's been saying is actually makes so much sense. Why are they still saying that we're starving kids? And plus, if you want to help Africans, why don't you partner with Africans in order to help them? Because when you came to me, I think 2014, 2015, and you spoke to me and I made a suggestion from an African and you turned it down, it says a lot about your attitude. It says a lot that you don't want to provide a solution that's for us. You just want to give us a solution that you think is for us.
Work with us.
Yes, you just want to give us a solution that you think we need. Someone gave an example saying that some of these organizations, they go to these villages and they just go and start building wells for people, right? And there was one village that the energy and the level of community-ness in that village started going down because they actually enjoyed walking to the river and actually spending time together. It was part of the culture. So it's like if you spoke to the village, they would have told you that actually this is what we need. We need schools. You know, there's an angle to it. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing humanitarian stuff. It's about having dialogues with the people and understanding what they need and letting them lead the conversation and letting them lead the solution. Because if you keep telling someone this is the solution that you need, they're always going to continue to look outside for the solution. But if you ask someone, what do you need? They have to look inside for the solution. And if you look inside for the solution, you will always be able to deal with future problems, because it's your foundation. It's your foundation.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, it was incredible, by the way, the interviews that you did and the way you stood your ground.
Appreciate
I was speaking to my producer and I said, nowadays with these conversations, you have to make sure that they don't push your button, because what you don't want to see
it's a
is
sensitive
getting
world.
Angry, and then you're looking like, there goes that guy. So you
yeah.
have to keep smiling, making sure you're cool, calm, and collected. Your information at your fingertips, and that can be very difficult, especially when you're passionate about something. So you going through all those interviews with some of those the most difficult platforms, you handled that well. Now my question is this: when can we start also holding our own leaders to task back home? Because they've ultimately put us in this predicament for the last 50 years, where we're getting presidents past presidents that are now billionaires in dollars, but the people are still struggling, lack of infrastructure. People can't have basic amenities, water, roads, electricity. When should we start grabbing them by the neck rather than criticizing heavily, which we should, these international organizations who've found opportunities to keep doing what they're doing?
The time is now. The time is now. I think a lot of African leaders in the past, they've pretty much been plants, if you really think about it, because all the powerful ones, that actually were for the people, were always sold out and taken out. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough one, because, and I always say this, like, I don't think we've ever had a leader, I don't think we've had many leaders who been in their own African mind. We've had leaders that just want to serve, external, do you know what I mean, external stakeholders. And that's been the problem. But the thing is that it goes way further than when we gain independence, we didn't really gain independence.
We're still working for
independence. Do you know what I mean? So we've
independence.
Exactly. God so damn. We've never actually, because there's different ways of liberation. There was yes, we shake hands, you've got your independence, but there's also
we're still controlling
ownership. We didn't have the ownership. Do you know what I mean? And Nkrumah tried to get all the African leaders together around that time. I think a few years after 1957, when Ghana became the first country to gain independence, there was like a meeting that he called. I think around that time was about almost 30 states had gained independence, or 32. And he was like, let's not leave this room until we all become one. Let's not leave this room until we all sign on one paper, have one council, one government, one state. Let's not leave this room until we become one. And he even suggested for the capital of this one state to be Kinshasa.
Wow.
Because he knew the energy and the spirit of Kinshasa. He knew the wealth.
Importance.
He knew the importance of that land. It's in the center. And
Central Africa.
Honestly, he had a serious vision that would have not left Africa the way that it is now. So that didn't happen because a lot of people were umming and ahhing. They were excited that they just gained independence. Let's not move too quick. Let's not move too quick. Let's enjoy our freedom. And over how many years later now? Over 60 years later, we're dealing with the problems that those the decisions that they made back then is affecting us now. So it goes way past our current leaders. And then you have to also look at the kind of systems that raised us, that raised our leaders. The kind of schools that raised our leaders were curriculum that were built by Western systems. It was a Western curriculum that raised them to serve the West. So why would they not sell us out? It's because
that's how they were raised.
That's how they were raised. So there's a lot of uprooting that needs to be done. There's a lot of undoing that needs to be done, and it's the mentality. Yes, and it's always a miracle to get a leader like Ibrahim Traore, because you know, only a few actually come out and actually find themselves, find their mind, you know, and actually serve the people.
The opposition to that was crazy.
Yeah, and I was even saying with the Band-Aid stuff, there's a author called Dambisa Moyo, and she got this interesting theory about our leaders serving external stakeholders, because when they brought in the idea of aid, it was more to help give us, you know, when we just gain independence, more to help give us a little something in the piggy bank, you know, to hold us up just in case, you know, and we just got used to it. We just got used to it and started looking for handouts. Yes. So we have leaders in Africa that need our problems to exist in order to look for aid, right? And I don't know why they didn't even learn from COVID, where our leaders started getting ill and they had to fly out the country because they don't have the health system in place. We should have learned from that. And now Trump is, you know, not even cutting back on aid. He's focusing on his people.
Facts.
He's doing the right thing, focusing on his people. And you as a leader of your country in Africa should focus on your people, because we have our resources, which you've given mining licenses to all these external multinational companies
years and stuff.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why don't we step back, take back ownership of what belongs to us and focus on us?
People come do business with us, and then we invest in our people. That's it.
It needs to be a partnership. They've given out licenses to all these multinational companies, and we're just getting exploited. And when Band-Aid is saying we need money, we don't need money. We have money. We're just being exploited. There's so many systems in place that's just left us in the space that we're at that needs to be undone. And it's a lot to unpack.
Absolutely,
it's a lot to unpack.
You know,
but it goes down to education.
Absolutely. I was speaking on CNBC and they were asking me about, you know, figures with the creative industry, the entertainment industry. And one of the numbers I was reporting on was the fact that in 2023, Ghana declared between now and then $43 and $1 billion for their tourism in the entire year. I know what the year of return in 2019 did and the likes of Afro Nation and Co. But you started that way beyond 2019.
Yeah, way beyond. Way beyond that we even foresaw the year of return, because we knew it was going to be 400 years since we were enslaved as Africans. So we always knew there was going to be an exodus, you know, our people, you know, coming back home. We knew it was a spiritual thing, and it aligned with the government. We were having conversation with the tourism board, and then the year of return was born.
Wow.
Right? And funnily enough, before that was even born, I'd done a song called Brefier. And Brefier means come home.
Wow.
And we made that song like 10 months before even the year of return was born. And I knew I had to link up with Damian Marley, the son of Bob Marley, because it was very significant that this message wasn't just from an African. I wanted a message where I'm having a conversation with someone
in diaspora
who was taken
from
us, and for us to have a conversation, for me to let you know that we are here for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that we're going through the same struggle, and it's time for us to come together. So if you listen to Breath Damien is actually asking, I hope you haven't forgotten who I am. I hope you still welcome me when I come back. So that song was supposed to be a spiritual message to kind of a conversation between Africans, you know, black people who have been, you know, scattered across the world. Like, let's unite on this song. It's time for us to come home, not just physically, but also spiritually. And then it just perfectly aligned with the year of return. And at that time, I was a tourism ambassador. So I was spending a lot of time with the tourism board, myself and Mr. Hackett and the tourism minister. We would travel together. That's how the year of return was born. So everything was just aligned. So Breath was the soundtrack for the year of return. And again, it was always part of our vision that once you love something, which was Tina, this is New Africa, make Africans love themselves and the world love Africa. Once you love something, you want to know more about it. And if you want to know more, you want to go there and find out more. Same way when dance music was big, people were going to Ibiza.
Absolutely.
People were going to Miami,
Chicago.
For the dance music. So we knew that it was going to happen for Afrobeats. So it was always in the vision. And that's why with the Tina Festival, way before, before it became a thing where people were doing,
festivals back home.
You know what I mean? So we always knew that once people love it, they want to know where. We invested a lot of money and vision brought people back home because we knew it was significant. And that was a turning point.
Absolutely.
That was a turning point for Afrobeats. That was a turning point for artists locally and artists internationally and connecting them.
I remember Lethal, Bizzle, Skepta.
Skepta,
the energy changed.
Everyone was inspired. Lethal was inspired. Skepta inspired.
Absolutely.
Steff London was inspired. They all wanted to get land and buy their homes. Bizzle now got a home in Ghana. You know what I mean? Skepta's invested in homes in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Steff London, actually, she still wants to buy a place in Ghana, but she's invested in Jamaica.
And she represents Africa on a level I've got to be honest with you, man. Even some African queens don't represent at that level. She has a traditional party every single year, celebrating her birthday here, where she encourages everybody to come in full attire.
Yeah, Steff is
authentic, bro.
I know how it might come across, but she's very woke.
Nah.
She knows who she is. She knows her African history.
100%. I'll be honest with you,
and that's why when she's doing these African events, I'm happy.
We believe her.
I'm happy because she's been on ground.
100%.
She's been at the school and donated and actually got her hands dirty. Like, she's there as part of the foundation. So she has the right to tap into her roots.
Listen, man.
Do you know what I mean? Because she's open to learn.
I've always been a huge fan of Steff London from the moment she went with you to Ghana at that time, and the way she's carried herself in terms of blending her Caribbean roots and the African roots together. Listen, I'm a huge fan, and it's 100% authentic. We love watching it and supporting her on that. Another question I wanted to ask you see what's going on with Tyla right now, and the criticism that she's receiving in America from our brothers and sisters in America based on, the colored comments or questions she never answered. What are your thoughts? How does she handle this? What do we do? Because it looks like if this isn't handled properly, this might be a turning point.
Yeah, I think people need to, give her some grace because she's a child.
She's a baby.
She's a baby trying to find herself. Do you know what I mean? And America, Americans, they're just lost in their world. And if they feel like, they will always see Africans, even though we're the same, as separate, because there's this energy
that's what they've been taught.
But to be fair to them as well, they were stripped of their names 100%. And identity and who they truly are. So there's a distance between an African American and an African, even though they are African.
The same.
Exactly. So there's this energy there. Of course, major credits to all the African Americans that come and actually come to find themselves because they, get to educate themselves and then go back into themselves. Big up Khalees. I see Khalees.
Khalees is all over Africa. Kenya, Uganda,
so that's
Zimbabwe.
A beautiful thing. So big up to, all the Americans that actually want to find out who they are. So there's this sense of separation between African Americans and actual Africans. So anything that they can kind of pull up
to keep this separation even further,
to keep it even further, they just hold on to it. And I saw that happening in even in the acting world. The Americans,
black actors in America,
the UK actors, talking about the UK actors, because they're easy to deal with. But really, we should never see ourselves as separate because there's nothing more weaker than a disunited nation. And as black people, we're so disunited that it's so sad to see our own people attacking our own people.
They've got us in Africa, they've got us in the Caribbean, they've got us in America.
How does that make any sense? If somebody's made a mistake, correct them. Educate them. Teach this. The girl said this is my culture. You should let her know well, this is our culture.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? Because I've never been comfortable with the South African culture where, you know, light-skinned people are like coloured.
Absolutely.
You know, that's
Absolutely.
a whole nother situation that needs to
Absolutely.
be dismantled.
My brother, apartheid
Right.
they just pushed that out in the 90s.
Exactly. So there's still a
basically-
baby.
Yeah, yes.
It's still a baby.
It's
We're still
a
trying
baby.
to, you know, correct his ways.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think they need to give her some grace. She's a child trying to find her way. But again, it's a lot deeper than what's happening now. Because you can tell that the problem is bigger than what's happening with
but
Tyla
this is
right
what
now.
it's being used
Yeah,
as.
that's what it's being used at, you know. But
another question I wanted to ask you is, even at the time when you were enjoying a lot of success, and I know we're running low on time, but you never had that many collaborations with your Nigerian brothers and sisters, though.
I did. You know what it is? I just like working with people naturally. But I did. I worked with a few people. That I worked with Wonderco.
Yep.
I did Wonderco.
WC.
Who else? I
See,
worked
you're
with
struggling.
Tiwa Savage.
Okay.
I did Tiwa Savage. But I worked with just as many Nigerians as any other country, though.
Yeah.
If you actually think,
that's true.
and
That's true.
yeah, as
That's
any
true.
other country,
That's true.
like whether it's Jamaica, whether
Yeah.
it's Nigeria, whether
Yeah,
it's,
some
do
monsters
you know what I mean,
with
whether it's
Jamaica,
Kenya, I worked with just as many people. I think, in fact, I've worked with more Nigerians than any other country. If we're really talking about numbers in the different countries of features, but I think it's more kind of it happening organically. Because everything
than
just
the
has to be
digital
organic.
stuff.
Yeah, it has to be organic.
Yeah,
And everyone that I've worked with are like people that
That you
I had a
know.
relationship with. Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
one day it's like one of my really good friends, and yeah, we just have a good time together. We ended up working together.
Making hits.
Do you know what I mean?
Um,
I would love to work with more Nigerians because I feel like it's crucial that we all stick together
Absolutely.
and push the culture together.
Absolutely.
Because there's still a sense of separation in Afrobeats.
And we
Do
need
you
to
know what I mean?
pull that
Yeah.
bridge
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
That's why I was asking, because someone like you, I think it would be great to see more collaborations at the top level. Now, finally, this album is out. Spirit of New Africa is incredible.
Thank
the
you,
app
brother.
is fantastic.
Thank you,
Every
brother.
African that has a child, doesn't have a child, download this.
Let's
You
get
need
it.
to get that information. It's very important. I said it before that you were probably the first official Afrobeats tour touching
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
places
we were.
like Newcastle,
Yeah, we were.
Glasgow.
Yeah, we were.
And
We were the first of everything.
absolutely.
Even Radio 1 didn't know what Afrobeats was. We had to write it down and actually define the history of Afrobeats for them because they saw it as dancehall. And a lot of people don't know this. They actually saw that as dancehall. So we had to write what Afrobeats was. So when they were introducing Fuse ODG
They
Antenna,
had something
we
to
had
say.
to script it. Yeah, so that's how we had to handhold a lot of these people on these platforms. So we were the first of many spaces.
I see
you
that,
know?
man. You know, I saw you performing on live television at the Mobiles. That was a crazy night,
that was
though.
crazy, and that was the first time
was
that
the first
Africa was showcased
Showed at that level.
unapologetically.
Facts.
It wasn't like a small, but trying to be, you know, a dash of Africa. It was full African. Came in on a palanquin, you know, like you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was, honestly, but we've always believed in us, in our culture, and we've always wanted to showcase our culture unapologetically. And we knew that we were doing something different, you know, and yeah, you're right. We do need to tell our stories. People need to understand what we've done, the foundation that we've done, because we've had to rough off people to get to where we are. Mr. Hackey had to hold people and shake them. Like, what do you mean they don't want to play the song? Like, this is the biggest song in Africa. Like, you need to play this song. Like, we've had to fight to get in spaces that paved the way for where Afrobeats is
Everybody
now.
has come through.
Do you know what I mean? So definitely, like, it's been a beautiful journey, and the story needs to be
Are
told.
we gonna get another tour? That's where
1,000%.
Having experienced what I saw,
Yeah.
what is the plan for the tour?
And what you
bro?
experienced could have only happened with the journey that we've had, because the kind of people that were in that building, honestly, you just want to get to know everyone.
Absolutely.
Because the energy was just fire. Everybody, good energy.
Great energy.
And the way that you are as well, like,
I was connecting with Niger Boy. Shout out to Niger Boy too.
Yo, big up Niger Boy.
Yeah,
my
so
day
do we
one.
have a specific time for this?
No, we're working on the tour dates, but 1,000% there's going to be a tour. And what's beautiful about our shows is that it's with a purpose. We don't just do a show and walk away. We're a nation. We're trying to figure out how we can become solutions to our problems. Like, we have conversations, like, people leave feeling inspired that, you know what, I need to represent my culture. Whatever space that I'm in, I need to represent my culture. Like, and that's what our shows is about. Our shows give you that energy and that ginger for you to face the world. And we want to do that on every platform. We're doing that with the app as well. The app is supposed to equip that parent for her to, use it to build confidence in their children. So when their children step outside, they know they're a king, they know they're a queen, So they're ready for the external world, because the world will tell your kid who they are if you don't tell them.
Absolutely.
And that's what these shows are.
Absolutely.
When you come to my show, I let you know that you are the shit. And you're going to go out there, you're going to represent it, you're going to make us proud. Listen, do you know what I mean? The energy was crazy.
You are the shit.
Thank you,
and
brother.
I
appreciate you, man.
And everything you've done so far. It's an honor to have you in the studio once more. Spirit of New Africa is out right now. Make sure you follow Fuse ODG on social media. The tour is going to be fire. Because we're coming with the Spirit of Africa. My brother Fuse ODG.
Thank you for having me.
Nah, man, my brother, I was, listen, that show was...
Afrobeats Podcast.
Right, Resume got that sauce.